Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBYWN Australia podcast. I am your host, as per usual, Aston Crude. And here today, I am talking to Blade Shaw, the All-American Australian, the longest reigning heavyweight champion of all time. We've already done part 1 technically, but part 5 overall, talking about his backyard wrestling career. But this section here, we're finishing off his WZWA/backyard wrestling career. Blade, how you doing?
Good. I've loved the first part, so I'm actually really excited to... I'm sure it's probably going to be even slightly emotional talking about, the end and all that sort of stuff. I'm starting to feel a bit of that sadness that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, knowing that this is probably... Unless you and I got together and watched a full XCW show with a couple of beers and did some, director's commentary on what we're watching. Other than that, I can't see us ever having the chance to sit down and talk again like this anyway in this instance. So it is. I
just thought we'd never talk again. This would be it. This
is the last conversation we have. Great American Gash. This show is for you. Great American Bash, the Great American has won the championship, but we can't call it Great American Bash or Great American Gash. It's, it was supposed to be rude, but then Phoenix got fucking busted open, so then there was a real Great American Gash. Your first title defense, I wanted straight out the gate a fucking heavy hitter, first challenger, Kilowatt Chaos. Your one and only match that you got to have against him. But the feud with the originals is still going on in the background. How was it working with Chaos, another big man, but his style's a little bit different to an Ice.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's the new world hardcore champion with his new gimmick. What did you think of him being your first challenger?
It's actually, I think me and Chaos worked really well together because in a lot of ways we kind of have a similar style, kind of like that powerhouse brawler.
Smash mouth.
Yeah, kind of thing. So, I really, really enjoyed our match. And to me, I think at the time was the first time that I realized properly that I had definitely not only improved as a wrestler, but that I could actually actively call shots in the match. I can't remember what the botch was, but we'd set up for some... I think he was supposed to climb on my back, and he was going to get me in a sleeper hold, and I was supposed to, push up, get up, and, he'd be on my back, because he was using the transmission at the time. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't shoulder his full weight on my back and, get up. So we were kind of struggling and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of, fell back and dropped him off my back. And he was, what the fuck are we supposed to do? So I called the spot on the go and was like, okay, I'm going to run towards you, try and clothesline you, duck, you go in and then come back and hit me with the spear. It just flowed really well, and it was at the time I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can actively be okay, this is not working. Let's change direction, and that really empowering to realize that I was able to do that, and after 14 years, I was comfortable to say, oh, okay, no, this is what we need to do. This is how we have to do it. You can't just stand there and be like, fuck, this is awkward. Because sometimes botches, especially in backyard wrestling, can be awful because, you're not properly 100% trained, and so people it can be a real awkward, almost cuff, tumbleweed sort of thing, because the two people will stand there and be like, fuck.
Unless it's Jack going for a 619.
That is just funny.
Fucking, I love it. I never get bored watching it. It was a good match, and I was proud of Chaos because he just fucking started getting momentum. Didn't matter to him that he was dropping a loss very quickly into his new gimmick. I was like, I hope you don't mind. I need you to put Blade over the next show. We really want to cement him as a good champion. Yeah, sure. Yeah, fucking love to.
Yeah.
As soon as I mentioned, you reckon you could put over Big Ace? No fucking problem, dude.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Of all, what the hell? Big Ace? It's not like his track record was like he could beat a Chaos, but he was happy to be like, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the sign of a fucking good person right there, you know?
Probably one of my favorites. Like, just, the guy is a crazy motherfucker, but like such a kind motherfucker at the same time. Like, you look at like Chaos is wild, and you're like, oh man. But then you get to know him, and you're like, oh, there's just like this kind of like teddy bear, nice guy, like underneath, you know?
Yeah,
like,
he is. Real sweetheart.
Yeah,
I saw him last night.
Love Chaos.
Haven't seen him in ages.
He's a quality human being.
He is quality. I miss him a lot, but he's moving back up this way soon, so
awesome.
You know, I'll be able to see him a bit more often. He's been in Ellenbrook for a while, so we used to hang out all the time. Hard Time 5 is the next show. It gets postponed because of Jack, and I'm fucking furious.
Yeah.
Jates keep getting fucked around, or fucked with either the week of, or the day before, or the day of. And I'm starting to lose my sanity. What's your side of the story when you see me going through this shit? And when you see, because it's like a fucking Friday afternoon, this is one particular story, Friday afternoon, and I see Jack Wallace has posted in Warzone Wrestling Alliance, and immediately I have anxiety. I start almost shaking, like I'm like, what's he fucking going to say now? Because he never says anything any other time.
Yeah.
And I bet it's about the show.
Yeah.
So what's your side of the story when you see me going through this and you being on the booking committee?
It's really, really difficult. And I mean, I don't want to go into the whole, like, Jack v. booking committee or Jack v. Carl situation, because as you said, you've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. Yeah, it's just difficult and not fair, I think, to everybody else who puts aside their time and, you know, or puts in effort like we did with the booking committee, yourself, like, you know, organising everyone and booking and all that kind of stuff. And it's not fair. And at points it almost felt like Jack was like almost holding WZWA hostage.
You guys should be thanking me.
Yeah.
That I even allow this to happen, because I don't even care anymore. And it's like, when you say things like that, dude, you kill everyone's motivation.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to get everyone motivated for the final year, and you are killing it every single time you say stuff like that. Don't say stuff like that, because it fucks with everything. He doesn't understand the process that we go through, especially fucking getting a date that everyone can come to.
Yeah.
And then, just because he's got something on, or he can't be bothered, all of a sudden now it affects everyone else. That just, it did my head in, and I'd be, Belinda would have to calm me down all the time and be like, I can't fucking handle this anymore. It's the last year and he's already beginning to do this shit to me.
Yeah, and I just remember, you know, like all the car rides that we'd have when you'd pick me up from the station, or, you know, when we catch up outside of WZWA. And, you know, it's like always a topic of conversation, you know? And like, it's the worst thing to be like so miserable, and when you're spending time with other people or you're doing other stuff or whatever, the topic always comes back to, oh, well, this situation's fucked, alright? Like, this person is annoying the shit out of me, you know? It kind of like overtakes, you know, all the other stuff that's going on in your life, and so you become kind of blinded and consumed by that frustration. And you know, yeah, like the last year at points was really difficult, like to stay positive, because it just, you know, like, it was hard. Like, Jack made it difficult because we just didn't know what was going to happen from show to show.
And, you know, when in those car rides, I say to you guys, what do? I don't know what to do anymore. Do you guys have any ideas on what I can do to fix this situation with him? Because I can't go through this whole year with this, not knowing if the show's going to go ahead. You know, I book a date, I need the backyard from 12 till 5, 11 till 5. I think it was 11 till 5. I need it for that time. I can't deal with time constraints. I can't be told it has to end at 3. There's no way we're going to get fucking 10 matches done before 3.
Yeah.
And it was stuff like that, and I just did not know what to do anymore. And that's when we finally did get to hard time. I got on my fucking knees in front of everyone saying, please, Jack, please make this easier for me. I need this place 11 till 5, once a month.
Yeah.
let's get WZWA finished off right. You know, you keep postponing shows, you keep cancelling shows. Fucking Ryan's booked work off.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, can we just do it on the Sunday? No, dude.
Yeah.
People book shit off now. It's not like it was back in the day when no one had anything to do.
Yeah.
People book work off for this stuff, you know, and that's food. That's not food. That's money being taken away from Ryan's bank account, or
food being taken off their table.
Food being taken off their table. Anyway, you know, I have told the story many times, but you know, it was a very frustrating time, and because of shows being postponed, Resolution's date keeps getting pushed back, because I'm like, we're not cancelling shows, we're not missing out on a couple of them, we're pushing everything back, dude. So every time you postpone, we're pushing the final show's date back, because we've written 12 shows, and we've written the final storyline. Like, we need these. If we have one show missing, then a certain match at Resolution won't have the build that it was supposed to have, you know?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
What did you think when I was on my knees begging?
Were you just hoping that it would work.
I thought it would.
Like, you know, like calling attention to it would work, but I think ultimately in the long run, it was never about any of that. I think it was just the fact that he wasn't happy with what he was doing in WZWA, and therefore he didn't want to do it. And that is what dictated all of those other things.
Yeah.
I imagine if he'd done the 55 Live thing earlier, I don't think we would have had as many problems.
That changed everything. It changed everything. I can't believe it. If only it happened earlier, but if it did, will we have enough opponents for 11 shows?
Yeah.
Alright, Hard Time 5. Your opponent was initially supposed to be Phaser.
Yep.
You know, I wanted him in the main title program for a little while there. I thought it'd be good to have him in the main event, but he's around tripping around the US at the time, so that is out of the question. But Phoenix obviously is a late inclusion, and we'd already done the booking before he'd become a member of the roster.
Yeah.
And I said to him, look, I'll try and get you as many matches as possible, but you might not be able to be on every show. And he's like, that's fine, just whatever you can give me, I'll do.
Yeah.
But Hard Time 5, Phoenix gets injured during his match earlier in the day with Antilochus, I believe. Hits the back of his head on a...
It was a concrete block.
On that was in the grass.
Yeah.
And he has to go and get stitches and stuff.
Yep.
And he comes back, and you're reluctant. You don't want to do the match.
No.
You're like, I don't want to hurt him. You're worried. Blah blah blah. How are you feeling about that? And me saying it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It was really difficult when you're like, he's got stitches, likely probably has a concussion because he'd been vomiting all that stuff, and I was just it was like, if he takes like one bad head bump, like knocks his head back against the canvas, and like, you know, the ring, you know, was generally fine, but it also, you know, it could have its like dull spots, like where you know you slam someone and it's just fucked.
Somewhere where the mat is like moved a little bit.
And I was like, you know, if he hits himself there, like that's fucked. And you know, we I think towards the end of WZWA as well, we had a bit more of a worse run with injuries, you know, like with Ice and other people, and so I was a lot more hesitant to do it, and I didn't. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I didn't want to do it.
I was adamant that it happened because I thought Phoenix is tough. Phoenix can do this. Not really knowing that I didn't know he was throwing up. I didn't know that bit.
Yeah.
But John and Nick failed to show up for the three-way match that we were supposed to have. John claims that he hurt his hamstring at soccer. So at that point, I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it. I was like, forget it. It doesn't matter. So I end up saying, look, I'll insert myself into the main event to lighten the load for Phoenix. It doesn't have to be a full-on match. I don't think it was very good. What do you think went wrong?
It was a clusterfuck. I think so you've got a lot of like different balls up in the air. You've got Phoenix, who, you know, we've got to tread around lightly and manage his situation.
Yeah.
You know, you've got you and I, who did not have a good match
the last time we wrestled.
Yeah. And then you kind of got a changing dynamic. You know, you and I had always been used to wrestling where you would call the shots and I would follow.
Yeah.
And that's usually how it goes. But now you've got two guys who kind of are more used to leading than following. So
yeah.
I think a lot of it just got lost in translation, and it looked like shit. And I got hurt in that match.
Oh, did
I think I remember telling you this when I speared him, and he tucked my arm into, like, when I grabbed him, and so I'd gone down and it had, like, compressed my chest, and I just heard, like, this kind of, like, crack and pop.
Oh, right.
And I was like, fuck. And I was kind of okay during the match, but then in, like, the preceding probably 2 weeks after that, I was really hurting, like, finding it difficult to sit down, and, like, when I was lowering my back, like, I'd feel, like, this fucking really bad pain.
Shit.
Luckily, yeah, with a bit of rest and recuperation, it kind of went away, but...
Yeah, just the match just didn't go well. It was really slow, and nothing really was happening, and it was just trading moves. The finish was good. I mean, when I hit the outsider's edge on him onto you, and you rolled him up for the pin, I thought that was very creative.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with that finish, but for the most part, it just didn't click. But, you know, you got to work with Phoenix at least once there.
That's true.
Autumn Brawl is the next show. Very disappointing for you, as 3 dog no-shows, and he's supposed to be putting you over in the main event.
Yeah.
I asked Kyle, I ask whoever I can to replace him and do the match so that you can have a proper title defense, and you were pumped for a match.
Yeah.
It ends up being Esqueleto. Hilarity ensues, but then Antilochus and you set a date for your next title defense to be against him. What do you think when 3 Dog doesn't show up, and in hindsight, what do you think we could have done better there?
It's really hard because you've got all the, like, basically everyone's locked in at this point, so somebody has to do double duty.
Yeah.
At this point, a lot of the guys are probably unfitter or, you know, a working job, so they're more tired. Like, everyone's, you know, you've had a long week at work. Like, why would you want to wrestle 2 intense matches? Like, it's a big ask. So, I don't think we could have really done it any better, you know? No. Like, I don't blame Kyle for saying no to...
But you know, later on he said, I really regret not doing it. I should have done it, because he never main evented a show, and he never had a shot at the heavyweight title.
Yeah, and we'd never wrestled a one-on-one match, so...
Yeah, I maybe looking back, I kind of feel like I should have pressed.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's Blade, it's the main event, it's for the title. You guys might not get to have a singles match. Come on, like, we can do this.
And
10 minutes.
We probably would have had a...
Would have been good.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but it was entertaining in the end with Esqueleto and the Donald Trump promo. And this is kind of like the grand return for Esqueleto, really. The LWA hadn't even formed at that point, but I knew I wanted to do this thing, so it was a good start.
Yeah.
Turning Esqueleto heel, which was just, God. Hello, Lila. Where have you been? It's just, oh, God, it's so good. But, yeah, you and Antilochus set a date for the next event for the title match.
Yeah.
And I know initially he was going to be beating you back for the belt, but we had figured out a way to prolong that a little bit more. I think there was going to be a third match where he was going to beat you for it at either Hug or Hell or the November show.
Yeah.
But at Frostbite, Antilochus actually can't make the show, and he's pissed off about it. But I couldn't change the date because the date was set in advance, but he had a gig. And he's pissed off that I'm like this. I'm sorry, dude. Like, we're just gonna have to do something else. Time's running out, and we got to go with the date that everyone can make, or the most people can make.
Yeah.
So you end up taking on Luke Monet as the card gets a little bit of a shuffling. It ends up being a very decent match with Commissioner Dark Ice for the day, filling in for JD Flame. The match is restarted. You get the win and retain after the screw job thing that happened. It was, you know, a bit weird, but also pretty cool.
Yeah.
For a second there, people thought maybe Monet was a champion. I felt like the feud with the originals was going well, but Jack is really dragging them down. What did you think of all of this going on here at Frostbite?
Yeah, just at this. I think it was at this point I kind of started to feel like the originals thing just wasn't working. Because, you know, like, either Jack wouldn't be there because he'd be upstairs sleeping because he'd had a big night and then wouldn't come down for a show, or Jacob misses an event, and so like it's almost feels like when I look back on it that you never had the four of them like fucking together ever. And you just can't have a stable like that and put them in the position, the top position. If there's always going to be 3 out of 4 guys there, it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, it's like the radical movement in ICWS. It was good, but a lot of the time Justin would have to leave early. There'd only be 2 of them, etc. It was still awesome, but just those things really do take away from what it is. But you got to work with Monet in a proper match this time. The first one was mainly a squash, really.
Yeah.
And that was your first match back. So what was it like getting in there with Captain Dickhead?
Yeah, awesome. I really hope he pulls his finger out and does the pro training and actually gives it a crack, because he's although he's brown and a fuckhead, he's talented.
Yes.
He's a talented brown fuckhead.
Yeah.
And yeah, anytime getting, he was always like, who would you like to wrestle? Oh, I'd like to wrestle Monet. He's basically almost everyone's dream opponent, just because I just had, I don't know, such a unique style, level
and
of versatility.
He sells really well, and the
seller.
matches are never bad.
Yeah.
I can't recall a bad Luke Monet match, unless he was Mojo Flow. But yeah, it was good to see you two go out there and at least work a proper match this time, and you get to retain the title against a worthy opponent. Hardcore Hell 2016 is now when we're setting up the big title match with you and Antilochus, and I believe he was actually supposed to win the belt that day. But we change our mind because of different things going on. What did you think of this match? Obviously, it wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah. It was, to me, disappointing. It just was so messy. We'd planned ultimately, because, Jacob was a bit annoyed that he wasn't winning the title back. But at that point, had spoken to me and said, I don't know if I want to keep going with wrestling. I think he was just, like all of us, really shut off with the situation and how things were going with Jack. And
but it wasn't just that, it was also Monet, because Monet was the one that was given the notes to give to the originals
and
to send
showing
them, because
up
why would I ask you to tell them?
Yeah,
he's in their group.
Yeah,
and then he wouldn't send any information to them, so they get to the show going, what are we fucking doing today?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Monet, have you not fucking told them?
Yeah.
So I bring Monet to me and bring Jacob to me and say, what is going on here? Where is the communication? You guys are supposed to be a stable. I guarantee you, when the Elite Alliance was going, I let Dan, Blade, Ryan, Lily, everyone, Acid, I let everyone know what was going on at every fucking moment.
Yeah.
But in this instance, it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, and so, Monet at this point, I remember us chatting about him potentially just being kicked off the committee, because he was supposed to be their mouthpiece to the committee, wasn't doing that. You send him messages on Facebook, he doesn't respond. We had the booking meeting, the final one, he didn't show up to that, and lied to us, which, is...
Lied to us as to why he couldn't...
Yeah, which is pretty shit. So, yeah, I think unfortunately in some ways as well, the other guys did get punished a bit.
He was supposed to be there to fight for this storyline.
Yeah.
And fight for that final match to be the 4 of them.
Yeah.
At Resolution 5.
Yeah.
And he was going to win the title at the final show.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff that was relying on him being at the booking committee meeting and fucking selling it to us and telling us why this is a good reason to do it, and just didn't show up, and he got removed from the booking committee group for about 6 hours until I was like, alright, I'll give him another chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he missed out on being a part of the final booking meeting, really, and having a say in what's going on.
Well, that's it. How can you give any direction to these guys that are being led by someone who's supposed to be there and isn't?
It's fucked. So I've got a few tidbits here. We've already covered a lot of it, but I still want to say it. I had to inform Jacob he's no longer becoming WCW champ his second time. He's very disappointed about it. There's nothing I can do. I had to make a decision at that point because the final match at WZWA needed to be perfect. At that time, if I didn't make that decision, I honestly believed it wouldn't have snapped some of them out of their funk. What were your thoughts on my decision to keep the belt on you until Resolution 5?
Yeah, pretty mixed. I felt in a way like I was kind of betraying my promise to Jacob that I'd made. You know,
that you do the favour for him.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it just wasn't working like we thought it would work. Him not being there, and then Monet not communicating with them, and it didn't make sense. I don't think.
No, it didn't, and I feel bad about it because that also took a potential title reign away from Rex Regan as well. He was very upset when he realised. I don't even know how he didn't realise, but when Ryan won the Battlefield Brawl, it dawned on him, I'm not actually winning the title at the second last show.
Yeah.
And he was really upset. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I thought you already knew, but we've gone in this complete other direction. You're against DJ at the final show. So I felt bad for him,
Yeah, definitely.
So what were your thoughts on the decision to make the final match be you versus Ryan?
Yeah, it was really tough because initially I was like, we had that amazing first match, and you kind of don't want to be like, we could ruin the legacy of this thing that we've made by the opportunity for a second match is exciting, but pretty nerve-wracking because you've got to take it to another level. You've already done so well, but it needs to be that much more. But in the same instance, it really kind of full circled the whole thing, right? Ryan's character sort of started his path to redemption, and it's funny because that's how my character started. So
exactly, it made sense in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next show is WZWA Pooh, and this confirmed every worry that I had and made me realise that we made the right decision. First of all, though, you were defending the title against Dark Ice, and this ends up being one of the contenders for Match of the Year, and you pick up the big win. What were your thoughts on the second outing with Ice?
Yeah, awesome. I just I wanted to also protect him, and I remember him saying to me, thank you for sorting it out this way, because to me it was important. This is Dark Ice. This is someone that he doesn't get beaten lightly. He
doesn't usually get beaten cleanly.
No, and so I wanted to make sure that we still kept that while also having a good match. And I love Ice. There's a lot of respect. I think it was very natural to have that play out on camera as well.
Yeah. It was one of those instances where it had to be babyface versus babyface because it was true to real life kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a story to be two friends who are two high level competitors just want to see who the better man is. Yeah, essentially.
Exactly. But as the story goes for WZWA Pooh, Jack misses the whole show as he's in bed hungover all day and cannot compete. So I'd finally had enough of his bullshit. Not only that, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Pooh was actually before Hardcore Hell, but that's okay. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah, my bad. I've got myself all mixed up here. Yeah, Pooh was the catalyst for us changing all this shit.
Yeah.
Because sorry, my bad. I'd finally had enough of his bullshit. Yeah. Not only that, Monet left the show early without telling me when he was needed for a run-in.
Yeah, gotcha.
So Jacob also making rumblings about wanting to quit due to the miscommunication with Monet and what the originals were supposed to be doing from event to event. but mostly Jack is 100% the reason why I had to make the change in the story. And then I say here, what did you think of the drummer with the originals all the time? But we have covered that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just thought it was important to mention that. As I got myself all mixed up here. But that's okay.
That's all good.
What does Antilochus mean to your career?
If I guess if Ryan is 1A, Antilochus is 1B, or vice versa. You know, they to me are my career defining opponents. You know, and it's funny that we say that because that answer was very different when we did the initial run of podcasts. But just yeah, I loved working with him. The fact that being given the opportunity to work with him also made us closer as friends. You know, we went from not really talking to I had so much respect for him. You know, when I said that at the Yardies, and he, you know, had said to everyone that was so important to him that someone like me looked up to him and had respect for him as someone younger. Like he's a good kid, super talented, and I was, you know, lucky and privileged to get the opportunity to work a program with him.
Excellent, and it was Feud of the Year.
Yeah.
Christmas Carnage 2016. Obviously, we had just had to rebook the end of WZWA, so we needed to figure out who was Blade not beaten yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we do Blade Shaw versus Rex Regan. This is at Rex's request. He said he wanted to work with you before it was done. He wanted to have a proper singles match. This was a tremendous match, and he really sold well for you and made you look really good. And it was really the final full stop on the feud with the originals. What did you think of working with Rex at this point?
Awesome. I like when I found out that not only he requested it, but we were doing it. Yeah, I mean we kind of had that small interaction, the triple threat at ICWS for the junior heavyweight title.
Yeah,
and you know we kind of locked horns a bit there, but like I love Chris. Like, you know, he is one of the very few people that constantly reaches out to me, even though WZWA has ended. And I think, despite the fact that we had that small altercation, I think it made him respect me a lot more because I'd called him out, and because, you know, I'd been willing to stand up for what I thought was right at the time. And so, yeah, you know, getting, I guess, the opportunity to close that book and wrestle him and kind of all putting that all together. Yeah, you know, this entire run of the last year was just getting to face people that I wanted to face, and that, you know,
it meant something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, you know, the first run that you'd work with who you'd worked with. But really, there was a lot of people you hadn't had the chance to get in there with. And
yeah.
There's people that you want to get in there with the second time, because the first time you just started getting your feet wet again, and you really want to build on what you did the first time, like a Luke Monet, like a Mykonos.
Yeah.
Those matches back then, yeah, they were what they were, but I knew later on they'd be a hell of a lot bigger and better.
Yeah.
And what I've written here is I felt most bad for Rex at this stage because he was actually hitting it out of the park, turning heel again. Although I did say, you know, I want you to update your look a little bit. You still look like Rex Regan from 2012, dude. Like, don't revert back to the old Rex. I want a new, fresh Rex Regan with a bit more passion, etc. But he showed that in this match. He really did. And I think the fucking Hardcore Hell match with Clint Marshall snapped him out of his funk.
Yeah.
Because he'd had that horrible triple threat tag match with Jack being fucking terrible at Hardcore Hell. And he was upset they lost the tag titles because Jack was shit, and DJ said, "That's it, you're eliminated."
Yeah.
DDT, 1, 2, 3. Get the fuck out of here so me and Gareth can wrestle Aston and Mykonos and have a fucking good match finally.
Yeah.
And Chris was just standing there like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing today. Luckily, Zibby showed up. Didn't have an opponent. Chris versus Zibby.
Yeah.
Luckily, that fucking happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to put that one out there. Resolution has been pushed back more times than any other event. I was adamant we're getting our 12 shows from Resolution 4 to 5. It wasn't fair that any shows would be cut from the schedule, and I know Noel was losing patience with it, but, fucking hell. That's where we're at this point of WZWA. Hostile Backyard Showdown, the most fun event I've been a part of in a long time. It was stress-free. I had a great day, and I was actually enjoying myself. We were laughing. It was like the WZWA of old. It wasn't stressful. It was a really good show. The main event, Blade Shaw ends the career of Dark Ice. Not really a fault of your own, though, but the fault of Ice bumping awkwardly on a clothesline, I think it was. What happened from your point of view as that match is taking place?
So, we start to get in it, we're building up slowly, and then it's like, okay. The worst part was I had a feeling, I'm like, this is going to be a good match. Like, everything just seemed really crisp, and like we were flowing probably the best we had to that date. And then I'm like, I think we were kind of like jockeying sort of a bit and like trying to push each other around. And I was like, oh, I'll knock you over with a shoulder block. So I go off, I come down, I hit him. Like, the bump didn't look that bad.
Yeah.
He goes down, and so I like lean over to pick him up. And as I do, he's like, I'm hurt. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, it's my shoulder. And I was like, fuck. Same bump he took from Ace.
Yeah. Exact same landing. Yeah.
And it just, I just had to improvise, like, he let me hit the end of days, and I'd said to him, like, maybe I should just make you submit, like, I don't want to put, at the end of days, like, I've got him up there, he's against my shoulder, like, so, yeah, I haven't watched the match back, and I feel like it would look probably pretty awkward, because I remember I was just, like, giving him a bit of a Brock Lesnar to Randy Orton treatment, like, I laid a lot of elbows into him, I was just trying to, like, make it look like I'd just overpowered him completely.
Yeah.
At that point, I think it was one of the few moments where I was like, shit, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Like, I'd never been in a match where somebody had said to me, I'm hurt. Like,
what do I do now?
Yeah, and it was tough. And, obviously upsetting because, this is Ice. He'd been hurt a lot at this point.
And we wanted to get him to at least get to the final show with all of us, and now he can't. And it's supposed to wrestle Dan Zeppelin, and I was really upset for him,
Yeah.
But look, fucking accidents happen, man. That match happened because DJ demanded a rematch.
Yeah.
So if we want to blame anyone, we'll blame DJ. What do you think of DJ going on and on about you on podcasts saying, well, me and Blade have become quite good friends? Because I said to him last night, you know what, I don't think you are that good friends. I think you're, but you keep going on about it. Do you two go to dinner? Do you two go to the pub for a beer? No, I don't think so. So I call bullshit, and I want to hear from the horse's mouth right now, not Chris Rowe, from you. I want to know, have you and DJ become quite good friends?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah. Like, no, like, he we don't, like, hang out a lot. Like, we've hung out a few times. It's more so we talk a lot, like, online and stuff.
You're supposed to say, nah, I don't even know the guy.
Daniel who?
Daniel Lowe.
No, like, we talk a lot online, and the times that we have hung out, DJ loves his wrestling, and he was one of the guys that said to me when I started the run towards the heavyweight title, he's like, oh, maybe you should do this in your matches. He's like, with your clotheslines, you need to come through stronger, and, like, put your arm through it.
He would
more,
give you a bit of advice.
Yeah, and, like, just little bits. And he's like, when you're pinning people, he's like, make sure that you're covering them properly, and just all that sort of stuff. Just like little bits that I think cleaned up my performance, and I appreciate that. Like, the fact that he actually actively took time. Like, that means he's watched my matches or paid attention during my matches.
And he wants to get you to a higher level than what you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
He's looking out for you. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure. And he introduced me to BoJack Horseman. That was sick. Smoked weed with him and his mum. Also pretty good. It was like a DJ. It's probably like one of my closest friends in WZWA.
Excellent. Battlefield Brawl's the next show. It's a show of its own this time, not Christmas Carnage, because, well, you got to have Christmas Carnage in December, but with shows keep getting pushed back, well, we can't have the Battlefield Brawl 5 events before the end, so
yeah,
it's a show of its own. We don't open the show, but early on in the show you accept 55 Live open challenge with Jack Wallace. It was a great segment. What did you think of the segment, and what did you think of the change in Jack?
So I really enjoyed doing it, and I wanted to make sure that it kind of had a bit of that XCW comedy flavour on it. So I was backstage and I'm like, I gotta do something. So I pick up this little packet of Twisties, and when I accept the challenge I come out and I'm like eating the food and people are pissing themselves laughing. So like this big fat motherfucker comes out and he's like eating as well. So yeah, it was really fun to do that and kind of mess around. Me actually win the Cruiserweight title.
It's an official title change as far as I'm concerned.
So, it just insane that all it took was that change in direction for Jack, and it completely, like, much like yourself with the Hitman thing, like that change to 55 Live, Mr. 55 Live, made him a completely different person. He was interested in wrestling again.
He fucking cared again, and he was like excited for what he was doing from show to show. And we hadn't booked anything, so we're doing things from show to show, figuring it out as we go along, because we don't know what to do with Jack because we didn't book him because of what happened at Pooh. Shows. But yeah, it was a great segment, and just a bit of fun for you. You know, I remember back in XCW, you said, "I want to be." What do you want to do before XW's done? I want to be involved in more comedy stuff, more entertaining segments.
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of bring that old thought from you into the realm of WZWA as it's ending.
Yeah.
But later on, you wrestle Mykonos in your next title defense. What did you think of the match working with your little Red Rooster bum buddy again? Fuck you. Little best friends ordering Red Rooster, never asked me if I would.
Yeah, it's true. We were like, it's funny. I would spend so much time with Mitch in that last run of shows. Like, we would just talk shit like non-stop. Yeah, wicked. I love getting the opportunity to wrestle Mitch again, because the first time we did it, I know he was somewhat hesitant about wrestling me and was kind of like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. But as soon as we had it, he's like, oh man, we have like chemistry. Like, I'm really surprised. He's like, it kind of sucks that I don't think we'll probably get the chance to maybe wrestle again. So getting to do that, having that match, and I thought it was like a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And, you know, I fucking love Mitch. Thinking about him right now, that red rooster. Fucking miss it, man.
I hope you two can have Red Rooster together again sometime.
Maybe we'll have to do it over Skype.
Yeah,
let us like both order Red Rooster.
Exactly.
And might sit down and have a chat.
Yeah, I felt it was important to revisit that match because you two become better friends, and I was like, I want to give them another match with one another, and you know, you're obviously on board with it when it was suggested. So.
Yeah.
Hard Time 6, me and you, one last time, bro. We want to improve on that Hard Time 4 match, and happens to be at Hard Time 6, so we've had 2 years to think about what we've done.
Yeah.
And, we shat on the rug that day, but we've had 2 years to have our nose rubbed in that shit on the rug, and now we're going to try and improve on that this one last time. And obviously it ends up being all about Lila versus Stacey. This is just... We're using ourselves to be the vehicle to start this thing with them. And I think that means a lot as far as how we feel about Lily and Stacey.
Yeah.
How did you feel that whole thing went down?
I just had fun. It was one of the, like, I was always so serious, you know, like about my matches, you know, versus Mitch and all the other guys, because it's like, oh, well, you know, I need to perform, I need to do this. But this was, I think were we the first match of the show? Yeah, so
open the show.
I hadn't opened.
I wanted to do something different.
Yeah, and I hadn't opened a show since I was tagging with Ryan when we'd have our tag matches.
Yeah.
So like,
you'd have to wait for the main event for the last fucking year.
Yeah,
man. Like,
and it took that pressure off, and I had fun, and like certain things went wrong. So like we had the spot where I'd been knocked down, and Stacey's like on the outside, and she's got the can of aerosol spray that you've given her, and she's supposed to spray it in my eyes, and she pulls it out and goes to press it, and the top like pops off.
Right,
and she's like, "Fuck!"
It wasn't quite connected.
Yeah, and she's like, she's like kind of holding it, and I'm like, "Just hit me with it." And so she just goes, like, hits me in the forehead with it, and I'm like, "Try to sell that."
If anything, if I was in that situation, I would have gone.
Like how they're like, "Where's the mist?" The sounds just have like, "Oh, it's out." So it was kind of funny because like,
because I was trying to come up, what can I do to fucking get Blade down?
Yeah,
we're gonna blind him. I'm gonna knock him out with the belt. Like I think I hit you. I don't even know what else I did. I did a few different things.
Yeah,
just trying to get the win over you and trying to make everyone think. Don't tell me Carl's gonna win the belt this close to the final show. Like he's already got the Aussie title. Don't tell me.
Yeah,
I just wanted to fool everyone somehow.
And it was like just a lot of fun, and like actually getting to tag with Lily and be against you and Stacey.
Yeah,
and
that was fucking cool.
Yeah, and
first ever mixed tag match in history.
And Lily, like, is such a legend. Rolling into the ring and taking that like get up super kick from you and just like eats shit.
How
like
good
in
was it?
Such a good way.
Yeah.
Like it was such a good bump. So much fun. Like
it was very well planned, wasn't it? Because you're on the ring apron looking at the girls, and I low blowed you, so that took you out of the equation.
Yeah.
She gets to the ring, super kick. Stacey's back on the ring apron. Quick, Stacey, quick! She gets the win, so then we can unofficially call her the women's champion because she beat the other girl.
Yeah.
So like it was just so well planned out, and I was really proud of it.
Yeah, and it was. I think you could tell by like what probably like going back and watching it and stuff that we just had fun. Like it was good fun. Even the promo between you and me, we're just like talking shit about each other.
I made you who you are. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have that belt. And I can't remember what you said.
You calling me Yokozuna, and then me calling you Hulk Hogan.
Yokozuna, fat as fuck. You're like Hogan, taking all the top spots, winning the titles, and you're bald as fuck. How dare you? Oh, it was fucking fun, man. But it was important for me right near the end to make sure we worked together one last time because I wanted to make amends on what we'd done wrong the first time around.
And I think having that entertainment rings a bit more truer to the XCW style and kind of just puts a nice little bow.
It felt like an XCW thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get to curtain call. No Blade.
No.
What happened when you woke up that morning? You were just
sick as
sick the night before, and you told me.
I'd said to you the night before. I was like, "Look, man, I'm feeling pretty sick, and I'm not sure how I'm going to go. So I'll let you know in the morning when I wake up." And then I'd had like a really terrible night's sleep, and I don't think I got back to you until like sort of 12 o'clock, like 1 p.m.
Yeah, and you said, "See how I go."
Yeah,
I might be able to make it later, but then I think it was maybe 1:30. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, and I just, it was crook as a dog, and it really sucks because I have a pretty like touch and go constitution. Like sometimes when I get sick, I get pretty sick. So that kind of came out of nowhere, and it was shit because obviously I missed the opportunity to wrestle Zibby, and we had that build up the event beforehand, where I'd come down to help him out, and he thought that I was the one that had attacked him.
Right, yeah, that was really cool too. I forgot about that.
And then he laid me out with the bro kick.
That was cool. Yeah, that was a really good segment, and building up like maybe Zibby will win the belt.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to get at. I didn't want everyone to think that it was going to be you the whole way, but
I think in a way it was interesting because a replacement match that was like the number one contenders kind of added an interesting element to the story.
Yeah. The only thing I was disappointed with was, we'd booked that match, and this was the last main event that we'd ever going to get before we get to the final show, and fucking people got up and were like, got to go. Like, fuck, we've got like one match left. Can't you stay for the main event? No, we got to go. And I got really upset because I'm like, fuck, we're so close to the end. You'd think the guys would want to fucking
stay,
enjoy every fucking moment we have together.
Yeah. It
is what it is. Until it's got to work with Clint Marshall one more time and Justin, so it's interesting to see them interact when they didn't get to very much over the years.
Yeah.
Alright, Blade. Resolution 5.
Oh, man.
We're at 3:26, so we're at the final show now, so I think we're doing well for time. But I need to do a wee, so I'm going to ask you, first and foremost, while I go over there and take a piss. You wake up.
Yeah.
The morning of Resolution 5, how are you feeling?
Nervous.
Yeah.
I'm always... It's just, like I said, it's a recurrent theme. Nervous and, like, a little bit sad. I was like, this is, it's all coming to an end. This is the culmination of, all this work over the last year that we've put in. And it's really hard, like, when you've got this, like, group of people that are saying, you've kind of, like, hit a career high and it's ending, like, maybe prematurely.
Like, you felt like, fuck, I've got more in the tank.
Yeah.
Didn't you? Because you were saying, like,
I said to you, mate,
pro.
Yeah, like, maybe I should go pro, like, just because I wanted to keep the ball rolling. But I think, it was the right time in the end. It's nice to say that we were able to go out on our own terms.
And all together and at our peak.
Yeah.
You get to the show. Did you get there early?
Yeah.
You were there before it began?
Yeah.
Because, like, there were so many people there, I just can't remember. I wasn't sure if it was... if I'm getting mixed up with, he might be coming to Curtain Call later, or he got to Resolution later. I think I would have picked you up from the trailer, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, you see Norman for the first time in 12 fucking years, dude.
Well, I'd seen him the night before, because we'd had the
backyard TV
which
attempt.
didn't end up happening.
Sorry, I forgot that you were there.
No, that's cool. So, yeah, I'd seen him the night previously. We'd gone to pick him up from his mate's house when I was with you.
That's right, yeah.
So, yeah, it was awesome seeing Norman again. I hadn't seen him in
12 years.
12 years, yeah.
2005.
Yeah, so awesome seeing him again. Norman's a good bloke.
How was he with you?
We were always, like, pretty good. Like, never super close, but, like, we chatted and...
you both, like, you like your nerdy stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we always kind of, like, had talked about that. But, yeah, no, like, and just that special, like, feeling of, like, Norman flew from Sydney to come here for the last show of an organisation that he actually hasn't been involved with.
Yeah.
And
I was so proud.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fucking cool that something like Backyard Wrestling has that ability to bring people together. It's
and it was just a trip that he was there, and we'll get to more of Norman later. So we start the show off with the masked battle. I'm going to just go through every match here with you as we finish up here today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say much because I want to save a lot of more of my thoughts for when I actually do the review show.
Yeah, okay.
Of Resolution 5. But I'll say whatever I can here and there.
Yeah.
We start the show off with the Masked Battle Royal for the Masked Championship. I have some drama with Jacob during this time.
Yeah.
About half an hour before that match takes place, he sends me a message saying, something about me trying to pull the wool over his eyes because Lowe was going to be Scream in the Masked Battle Royal, and he was supposed to be Midday Rocker. You really think I'm going to be in the match with him? And I've woken up late anyway, so I'll just miss the match. And I'm like, dude, today's not the day for drama. Today's for celebration. Who cares if there's a problem with you two? Just avoid each other.
Yeah.
Get eliminated immediately. I don't know. Let's be grown up about this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had that going on, which you probably didn't know about. But,
yeah.
What did you think of the Masked Battle Royal to start the show?
Just funny.
DJ was like, you can't start off with that. You got to start off with a real match. I'm like, no, trust me.
Nah, it's the...
I think it eased everyone in.
Yeah, and it's the opportunity to have a laugh before you set in for the serious stuff. The higher power, and the ridiculous, amount of attention and, circumstance that you give to, masked wrestlers. Like, they have their own belt now.
Yeah.
Nobody's...
the last show, they get their own belt.
Yeah, and nobody's wrestling properly, so, there's just a lot of stupid spots,
Aries goes for a 619. Spyro goes for a 619 and then just
falls out
the ring. How did that fucking happen? We do the spot where we try and chuck someone out, and then 1, 2, 3,
and they all go out.
They don't go anywhere near the top rope. I'm like, fuck!
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, was a team with useless.
Yeah, I remember laughing as well because I was doing music and Justin took that photo of all of you.
Oh, great picture.
On all the masked characters, and it's like, what a bunch of fuckheads.
Yeah, it was a great match, and the purpose of it, from the booking standpoint, was to try and get to EKG Papacito one last time without them having to have a match, because last year was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And we have run out of ideas at that point. Let's bring in all the masked characters from over the years, and let's give them a goodbye as well.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah, didn't what was his name? The friend of Deacon and Kyle's and stuff?
Oh,
even he was in it.
Cameron, he was Ricardo.
Ricardo, yeah.
Yeah. And even an ETW masked wrestler.
Yeah.
We got him to come and be a part of the show, which was really cool, man.
Yeah.
We had so many people, he would have never fathomed all this time later, he would be involved in the final WZWA show in some way. That's really fucking cool as far as I'm concerned. Everything came full circle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Jacob and low makeup. I've got some notes here.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to happen. I mean, fuck. It is the last show. Everyone's in a good mood. We're having a good time. Of course it's going to happen, and they do. And it's good to know that, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Tim is rumoured to be on his way. Did you hear about that rumour?
No.
You didn't hear about it till afterward? That's all right. Ace said he saw him at the train station, and Tim said he was coming.
Oh, I do remember, hearing something about that.
He said he was supposed to be. I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck to do with him now, because he's supposed to wrestle Vincent Graves, but I've replaced him with Lowe because Tim didn't get back to me.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do now? But he never showed up. So this is another tidbit. Next match, SPWS reunite to win the tag titles against Circus Royale. NC Viper returns as well.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
So NC Viper thing was awesome. But the SPWS pop, huge.
So I don't think anyone had remembered their theme song.
No.
So when they walk out, it was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Just an awesome, I guess, way without Ice having to wrestle, to give them the belts and just, kind of enshrine them as, the important part that they were to WA yarding.
Yeah. It was a good segment. Viper returns.
That was cool.
Good moment there. Takes a double choke slam. Alex makes the save. Just to build a little bit more for that Chaos Alex match. The Vincent Graves Open Challenge is next with the return of Brian Lowe. What did you think?
I actually thought they did really well.
For two people that had never met before until that day.
Yeah. But for two people that hadn't met, for Lowe who hadn't wrestled in 2 years. And, Gareth was still relatively newish,
Right, still a bit green.
Yeah.
You could have a good match, you could have a bad match.
Yeah, so I thought they did really well. And it was awesome because after that, I actually ended up chatting to Lowe for quite a while. And
cool.
We ended up, I needed to get money for something. We were putting in money for, was it the tarp or... I was putting in money for something.
Something that Brandon... Oh, the lights that Brandon...
So he took me down to the shops and, we were chatting, got some money out, and yeah, it was cool. He kind of just hung out while I was doing music, and
Yeah, he was cool, and I remember a moment where he said, "Oh, fuck, I missed this. I really regret leaving now."
Yeah.
And I knew that, and I'm trying to make this quick because we've got to finish this up soon, but sometimes between 1 month and another, a circumstance can change in someone's life where they're not interested. But I guarantee if I can get them to that show, or get them to the next few shows, that circumstance won't affect them because they'll remember that they're having fun.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like Acid, I caught up with him about fucking a month ago, and he was like, I regret leaving now, and I was like, there was nothing I could say to you, dude, to convince you. And he's like, you're right, like there was nothing that could be done, but I still regret it. And I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for Lowe, but at the same time, Lowe gets to have his redemption moment. They're getting a win at the final show.
Yeah, and it was cool. Actually, the funniest thing was, he's like, man, I haven't done this in so long. He's like, what's my finishing move again? And I was like, dude, it's the Low to Sleep. Like, even I know. Yeah. Like, and he kind of left, like, not too long after I joined.
He was there for about, 9 months.
Yeah.
Before he went. You never got to work with him, obviously. But he was obviously one of the bigger superstars in WZWA in the early days, was as the champion. So it was really cool to see him at least get his moment in the sun. Following that, Clint Marshall, JD Flame. Barrett is there to see it as well. This is a big reunion, you got Chris Zeppelin, Knuckles.
Yeah.
We're only really missing Wicked Nick James, Chris Rowe, Diffuser, and Three Dog, and I guess Tim Justice.
Yeah.
But it's a real big reunion, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, crazy, hey. They had a good match. I mean, like, of course they would. They're two guys who I always thought were super talented.
Yeah.
Actually, I ran into Zibby. I went and saw Strassman, the comedian.
Oh, right.
And Zibby was there with his grandma. It was cute.
Cool.
Like, she was nice.
Went on a date with his grandma.
Yeah. And so we were chatting for a bit before we went in. Yeah. Really cool. And like, getting to see two friends which are comfortable with each other, like, wrestle like that. There's always that natural flow. It's like seeing Nick and John wrestle. They've done it 100 times before, on a trampoline, on the grass. Exactly. Like, they're basically...
They started on trampoline together as well in TWA. And
yeah.
So it's, again, another thing coming full circle. And I remember Barrett specifically saying to me, because he only could see the first half of the show, he watched the recap and he's like, you guys ended everything perfectly. Yeah. You managed to figure out a way to make everything come full circle. So from a booking standpoint, how are you feeling? Like,
yeah,
looking at this stuff take place, this is the last time we book something and we get to see it take place in front of our eyes.
And it gives everyone the closure. It's the important thing. It's like you will look back and be like, at the last, and your memory probably will be of the last show. You'll be like, oh, like, I did this and that was awesome. I did this with my friends.
Yeah. So everything is all coming full circle, and the next one is another thing coming full circle. Chaos versus Alex Stone.
Yeah.
Viper becomes a referee during the match. I feel bad about this one for Alex because I feel like he ended up being an afterthought to the Viper SPWS thing. But what did you think of this segment between these two in this match?
I wasn't aware, I guess, as much because I didn't know them in the early days, so I didn't know like how close of friends they were, sort of, and more towards the end.
So I believe Chaos and Alex used to wrestle like in the pool.
Oh, okay.
Before Chaos had even known ice.
Huh.
So, like, in Alex's first match was against Chaos. So
yeah.
He always said he wanted his last to be against Chaos.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I think regardless of quality of match, I remember actually enjoying the match regardless. But I think again, if it's your friend and it's something, you get that closure, you get that moment to be like, it's just, like you said, it's a celebration. That's what it was. It was more a celebration, I think, than anything.
And it was good, and Viper for making the effort, because he was going to be at the AAW show as well that day, so he had to go from our show to their show all the way down in fucking Rockingham or wherever it was.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate his efforts to at least make a little bit of an appearance.
For sure.
4-way Warnborough street fight for the ETW Championship. Another title match we've got going on here.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Crazy. Like, there was some hectic bumps. Ace doing the splash like through the table onto Arthur Aries at the end, and him getting to win the title was like, it felt so good to see him like get his 15 seconds. Like, just he's such a nice guy, and like he, like over time slowly like managing to get to know him more, and like he came out of his shell and kind of like interacted with the boys, and it was awesome. Like they all know each other so well as well, you can tell, and like they just have instantaneous chemistry.
Yeah, and this ETW title thing, it was because someone like Ace never got to win a singles title, and I needed to figure out a way to get him at least one little moment there, and because those four, their run was really all about Kyle and Deacon.
Yeah.
And Aries came back in at the end, and there was a lot that he was doing, and Ace always seemed to be on the outs with that kind of stuff. He was never really featured, but he started getting really fucking good near the end.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was time to make whatever they had done over the last 3 years, make it about him at the final show.
Yeah. And like I said, getting to see him get his 15 seconds, he deserved it.
Complete adoration from everyone.
Yeah.
Continuing on, we're getting close now. Stacey versus Lila. First ever women's backyard wrestling match at the final show.
It was so good, and I remember them both being like, "Oh, like blah blah blah." We kind of, it wasn't as good. Both very kind of, I don't know, like
they're out of their mind.
Yeah, and
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, people were like popping like crazy. And just two quality individuals. I love both of them. Like,
both managers of you.
Yeah. Stacey is such an old friend, and Lily was like, one of the nicest, kindest people to me. Like in WZWA, I would have spent most of my time probably talking to her out of all the guys. So yeah, just getting them to wrestle each other and having that moment, and then afterwards with the induction of Stacey when we were both there, it felt really nice.
Yeah, it was good. Everything's fucking culminating in something special here.
Yeah.
Speaking of something special, Daniel Johnston versus Rex Regum in their feud-ending match. This was the blood feud of WCWA for the final stretch.
Yeah.
This had been building up since War Games, Autumn Brawl. Fucking, this is nearly a year they've been fucking going at it. So, like, a pretty good storyline, I think, and a great match.
Yeah, and when you're watching them, you're going to see something, like, brutally stiff. Like, they do not hold back with one another. And they work so well together. Like, I would say both of them would name each other as their classic opponent.
And props to Rex for being cool with putting over DJ at the final show. I think it was important for someone like DJ to go over in his final match, because he's not a legend, he's not an icon, he's a classic.
Yeah.
He's like a Coca-Cola, he's a Pepsi.
Yeah.
DJ's a classic.
Yeah.
He's a classic act from backyard wrestling. And a character like that deserves to go out with his head held high. Yeah,
definitely.
It's got Vinny G and Knuckles at ringside for him. It was important, I feel.
Yeah, and despite all the I know everybody has kind of had their disagreements with Chris and stuff like that, but I think at the core, when you strip away like all the politics and the bullshit, and he's had a difficult upbringing, and I understand that. Like, you can tell, he's a good kid, and like he has a pretty big heart. I think
he does, and I think we finally got to see it.
Yeah,
I think we finally peeled back the onion enough where we could finally meet the real him.
Yeah,
I remember after my Hall of Fame night, and fucking hell, like, he said, "Can I speak to you for a minute?" Took me around the corner, and he burst into tears, and he hugged me, and he's like, "I don't think anyone likes me, and I don't know what to do," and I'm like, "Just, bro, just be who you are. We love you.
Yeah.
You're a friend, but don't take everything so seriously. Just have fun.
Yeah,
and
chill
after
out.
that, fucking hell, I think he realised at that point, I need to chill out. I need to just have fun with my friends and stop taking everything so seriously. And I take things seriously a lot of the time as well, and it ruins a lot of things that I should take pleasure in. But that's who he is, and that's who he's become now. And I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of DJ. What a great match.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think DJ was sick that day as well, and he was like, fucking Slate's here as well, and I've got to prove to him that this is going to be, that I can have a good match and stuff like that. So it meant a lot to him.
For sure.
Clyde versus Steele, John Kemsley is all I'm going to say. Just Mike as the trainer at ringside. This was the XCW storyline without any XCW guys.
Yeah, and
except, of course, Mike, but
what a crazy set of circumstances when you get a prolific Perth businessman to come in and talk on the mic, to take wrestling moves, to punch a guy in tight gold shorts in the face. They were all classic moments that I don't think I'll ever be able to forget.
I can't believe, of course, and I think Monet said this, trusts Steele and Brandon
to get John.
They're the only people that would have thought, let's get John F5'd in this match.
Yeah. And the best part being is John no-sells the F5.
Yeah, he's a great fucking man. Of course he would.
He just gets back off and I can't remember what he grabbed.
But then he came back in with a fucking kendo stick.
Yeah.
What did you think? What went through your fucking mind when John was up on Brandon's shoulders? Because I remember being on music and me going, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I think that's the collective intake of breath noise. It's a kind of it almost felt like that sort of moment. Everyone was like, what? And then it just happened and the pop just
someone's dad got
burst.
F5. It's fucking hilarious, man. And
props to John for being involved.
He loved it. I asked him afterward at the Yardies, what did the wife think?
Yeah.
She just thought it was fucking crazy.
And he just he had it
he runs Platinum Realty.
Yeah.
He's a fucking business.
That's what I said. He's a prolific Perth businessman. Platinum is probably one of the most, if not foremost, premier real estate companies in Perth. The guy drives a fucking Maserati. You don't drive a Maserati and be a nobody.
Exactly. He's a somebody.
But just in what universe does something like that occur? And this all started because we started chatting about how much of a sick cunt he was, at shows.
I know, and then he ended up Steele was,
Steele invite John
come to the show. And then we all loved him immediately, and I think he just fucking loved the atmosphere and loved the boys and everyone's passion. And he's like, I'd love to get involved or whatever. And then he ended up doing it. It was just amazing.
I mean, his son is a wrestling machine. That promo is
classic quotes.
Yeah, he
needs to come out of this looking like a wrestling machine.
It's just the pronunciation.
And that was one take. Then he did one take, and it was perfect. He's on the phone with Mike, and he knows exactly what to say.
I know. I love how he's got the kind of slick businessman things. He's like, yeah, okay, ciao, and he puts the phone down.
Puts the phone down.
So good.
Next match, World Hardcore Championship, Phoenix versus Chaos. No 3-Dog. 3-Dog doesn't show up.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing.
I don't know if you listened to the Chaos interview, but one of the things that we realised as we were talking about it was the final show was supposed to be about Chaos versus Alex, but the whole time the story really was Chaos versus Phoenix.
Yeah,
because that had only just wrapped up prior,
Yeah,
and so this really was. These two really should have been against each other at the final show, and fucking hell,
it was
crazy, fucking crazy match.
I remember Chaos just not being almost able to walk after it. He'd wrestled 3 matches.
He was the MVP of the final show as far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
for sure. And just the bumps, throwing cement cylinders and getting thrown into that, and then Phoenix with the dive at the end off the roof, fuck.
Misses, turns around, fucking speared into the fucking sign, fucking 1, 2, 3. What a great finish.
I mean, I know there's a bit of kind of like confusion, fallout over the ending, and like Chaos and Phoenix started fighting and all this drama.
I didn't realise that Chaos relinquished the title back to Phoenix. I just thought Chaos is the final champion and he's giving him the belt as a show of respect, but whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
Following that, the Legends of WA Yachting Rumble. And I'm stressed out at this point because Mike Massiv's been sitting in his car for about an hour and a half at this point, waiting, and I keep going out there or messaging him on Facebook, almost time, bro, it's almost time. The Yachting Rumble, Legends of Yachting Rumble ends up being entertaining as hell, and I was surprised it ended up going so well. And I was happy to see Norman win this one and get one over on the XCW boys. It ended up really being about XCW.
Yeah.
You were a part of it. What did you think? You probably were like, fuck, I've got this main event. I really don't want to have to worry about this.
Yeah, I wanted to go out there and just, do the XCW thing, be stupid, fuck around. And then I was like, that's why my elimination was, I was just like, I can't be bothered with this anymore. I'd roll out of the ring and walk to the back.
Yeah.
And just... like, it was awesome seeing Norman involved. It was good being able to share the ring with the boys one last time. And for me personally, I had to leave after my match at the final XCW show. For me, it was like a cathartic moment and a goodbye to XCW. And I'm glad I got to have that.
So it's coming full circle for another federation there as well.
Yeah.
It was good to have Mike and Nick and John and Norman and me all there with you as well, and it was just it was all really just a vehicle for Norman to make his return after all this time. Fucking roast us on the mic, and then get off of me, and fucking the old Scorcher joke, and he gets to walk out with his head held high, winning the Rumble, the final show.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Following this, Crude versus Mykonos, with Mike Massive involved as well. What did you think of that match?
It was so good. Like, just you and Mitch wrestle each other so well. Like, you know each other's styles perfectly. The drama, the swerves, like it would. When I look at that, I'm like, that's the epitome and the ultimate of like Aston Crude match planning. Like you could just tell it was something that you had orchestrated, and it was so good. It deserved match of the year. I know you personally said that you thought me versus Jacob deserved to win it, but I think you guys did such a phenomenal job, and the ending killed me. I hadn't been emotional up until that point.
Right, I was going to ask you about that. What you came to me really upset afterward, crying, fucking sobbing into my shoulder. I don't think I can do this, man. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can have my match, or whatever it was you were saying. What happened?
I think I was watching you talk about the fact that it was ending, and you were saying goodbye, and I realized like it all that emotion of being sat there the entire day watching everybody say goodbye and kind of have their moments, and it like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I felt like I can't do this because I have to say goodbye. Like, is there any way I can just not do this? And WZWA keeps going, and it just it was physically impossible. I didn't want to say goodbye to my friends, to finish something that I'd spent, I never would have thought that I'd get the opportunity to come back to backyard wrestling, let alone do what I did in that time period. It was really fucking hard, and it just crushed me. Like, I was beside myself. Like, remember Stacy came over because we were all sitting around the ring, listening to you and Mitch after your match, and I must have obviously been visibly pretty upset, and she came over and she just put her hand on my hand and was like, just that kind of comfort, and having that friendship, and everybody coming up to me and being like, no man, you can do this, you're the perfect guy to finish this off, and it was such an overwhelming outpour of emotion, but support as well from the guys, and Yeah, really. It was really tough. Really tough.
Agreed, man. It was very emotional for me as well. And after my match, though, and after my segment, I felt really good. I was like, it's ending, and the stress is going to be over. I'm sad, but I'm also I'm glad that we could end this at our apex.
Yeah.
SPWS death match for the SPWS Championship: Dan Zeppelin versus the Hardcore God Antilochus. What did you think of this one after we'd already seen the hectic World Hardcore title match? These two just fucking stepped it up another notch.
It was still so good, and like the Spanish Fly, and
through the table was fucking mental.
Yeah, and Dan like doing that because at this point he'd sort of started to wind down doing the crazy shit, and
he hadn't really had a
fully involved match.
Yeah, he hadn't really had a tremendous outing for quite some time, and I think he missed maybe like 3 out of the last 6 shows. So he was a bit upset by that, but there's nothing I could do. But they made up for it with this one.
It's such a, and I like it deserved to be up there with one of the matches of the year. Like it, they did such a good job. It's just one of those things where it didn't. I guess it didn't have the necessary build up and all that kind of stuff. Like
the build up was a problem. Yeah,
it was a showcase match, and in terms of that, it was 100% in my opinion. Fucking A+ match.
Agreed. Second last match here, Jack Wallace versus Luke Monet for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Again, just it's like the John and Nick thing, and all that sort of stuff. 2 people that know each other insanely well. I really struggled, like in the match of the year voting. I think they also managed to tell a really good story. Jack, had stepped up 100% from like what we'd seen, and just their styles meshed so well together. And again, another incredibly high caliber match. Like everybody that day knew it was coming to an end, so everybody put on like 5-star quality matches. I can't
like
remember
XCW's final event.
I can't remember sitting there and being like, "Oh man, this match like sucks balls." Like I just remember being fully invested in every single thing that everybody was doing.
Main event, final match. It's you and Ryan. How did you feel before you went out?
I remember I couldn't talk to anyone before my match. I just had to stay like by myself. I put myself like by myself. Kind of. I chatted to Ryan briefly, but I was like, "Yeah, man, I just kind of need to sort of get in the zone and sort of calm down," because I was still like pretty emotionally volatile. So I was just like really needed to psych myself off and be like, this is it. Like this is the end. It was really tough. So I really kind of put myself where I needed to be, and to me it was vitally important that this was Ryan's moment. I didn't want any of it to be about me. Like it was
about him.
Exactly.
And maybe in a way you feel like what you're giving Ryan is what you wanted to give Jacob.
Yeah, I just wanted it to be that thing as like you deserve it, and to be able to do that for Ryan when he did that for me. When I started that journey, it
came full circle.
Yeah.
What did you think of the match?
I was a little bit disappointed. I think we were both very nervous and very emotional about the whole thing, and it at times like it just we weren't. I think we were way too caught up in the moment and couldn't process like putting some parts together properly. We forgot so much stuff that we had planned. It's probably not ideally what I would have liked my last match to have been, but I think the circumstances given kind of made up for it in a sense.
I think what we saw was a match between 2 guys that knew that it was the final match and there was pressure. And was it a 5-star classic? No, but it was actually telling a true to life story of 2 guys who are dealing with a lot of pressure, and they're feeling maybe a little bit lost out there. And the story is obviously told beautifully as far as I'm concerned, because it's telling a true to life story. You guys are in a fucking mind frame that you've never been in before, and no one would ever have the chance to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, me, John, and Diffuser, okay, that was the final XCW match, but I knew I was going to continue from there. You know, the final ICWS match, we know it's continuing from there. So, but you and Ryan, you know that this is the actual last match.
Yeah.
So it's a true to life story. You guys are struggling with this. You guys are trying to fucking fight one another, but you're reluctant to fucking end the match because you don't want the backyard wrestling in general to end.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great story. And, you know, whatever was told in that ring was the story that needed to be told. It didn't need to be a classic. It needed to be a true to life story as far as I'm concerned.
And that feeling, I think, of like laying there and being pinned and being like, man, this is really different. Like, just not having had been pinned in like
3 years.
Yeah,
3 fucking years.
It was overwhelming, but like awesome. Like it was in a good way. You know, I remember kind of just like laying there while Ryan's doing a celebration thing, and I kind of like sat up, and it was just awesome. You know, people are in the ring celebrating with Ryan, and you know, like that's what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I'd had that moment, and
it was time for his one.
Yeah.
Show ends with Ryan proposing to Lily. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
What did you think? It could have ended in a more wonderful way, could it? It's the first man and the first lady of WA Yarding really
and
engaged at the end of the final show.
You know, two people who are vitally instrumental to both the All-American Australian Blade Shaw as a wrestler and Blade Shaw as a human being. Yeah, like, but you can't write those sort of...
No.
Again, you can't manufacture that. It's perfection in the moment. And yeah, I couldn't be happier for them.
Excellent, Blade. I've got a few quick fire questions.
Yep.
Because we're at 4 PM now, so I want to get you back to the trainer soon. 407 days. What was the biggest highlight of your title reign?
I think it'd have to be winning it. Like, does that count?
Definitely.
Yeah. Like, just that feeling, and that moment that everything kind of stops and everyone, you know, not to be like selfish in that manner, but it's about you. Everyone is like, you deserve this. You deserve it. Chant like it.
It's your moment.
Yeah. And you know, especially for someone like me, that sort of stuff, you know, it resonates and keeps with me for a long time. You know, the only other thing I think that eclipses kind of the accomplishment of winning the WZWA title was getting my degree. Besides that, you know, winning the WZWA title is a very strong number 2.
That's awesome.
It's, yeah.
And I hope this kind of stuff sticks with a lot of the guys. Circus Royale winning the tag titles, being hoisted on shoulders. Low winning the title, being hoisted on shoulders. These are moments that I hope, you know, they're on someone's shoulders and they're looking at it, everyone clapping for them. Fuck, they'll take that memory to the grave, you know?
Yeah.
What was your favourite title defence that you had? Tough question.
Yeah.
Because they're all great.
It's like, you know, you got Dark Ice, Mykonos, Luke Monet, Chaos. Like, it's really hard.
They're all pretty good.
Yeah, I love each of them individually, and like they all. There's a reason why I love all those matches. You know, like separately. It's really hard to pick. So I'm gonna bitch out and skip that question.
Least favourite title defence you had?
I'd probably discount the Esqueleto one. I think probably my second match with Jacob, just because there was a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
And I personally don't think we met those expectations that we both had, and like just a lot of stuff went wrong. A lot of miscommunication. The botched powerbomb, which was fucking mortifying. It didn't go the way either of us wanted it to.
All good. So how are you feeling once the show was over and everything had kind of calmed down and WZW was gone now? How are you feeling in the days that passed by?
I remember, for the first probably couple of months, it was really difficult, this just isn't happening anymore, and being very nostalgic and kind of being like, I wish we kept going, but that feeling kind of not has faded, but just subsided. Every once in a while I think like, oh man, I really miss the boys. Like I miss, I remember you posting on the thread, and it's just like, I miss, ordering Red Rooster with Mitch, and I miss talking shit with you while you're having a smoke in the backyard, and there's just those moments that you look back.
I've been at 10 fucking AM and we're all fucking grumpy and fucking this cunt's not showing up today. Yeah, fuck that cunt. There's stuff like that.
And just like
the booking committee just getting together in the corner of the yard, and I'm smoking with my Red Bull, and Monet's fucking not paying attention because he's an idiot.
And has ADD.
Yeah.
And it's like,
those things, just the little moments where that you share with the guys over that stuff. That's what I miss the most.
And it just, I'll always look back on it fondly. And the one thing is it's like I said at the final show during my speech, was that XCW, might be my legacy, but WZWA became my home.
Yeah.
I think I will always now think of myself as a WZWA wrestler first.
Yeah, I think first and foremost that's what you are now. XCW, you got your start there, but WZWA is where you flourished.
Yeah.
And you got accepted more than you did in XCW.
And it was just crazy because in XCW, I think it is encapsulated perfectly when I won the Outsider of the Decade award, sorry. And then, I was kind of, I wasn't part of the core friendship group because I went to a different school, and, I'd come through alternate means. But then, to come into WZWA and, by the end, I said to Jade sometimes, while I was the champ, it'd feel like the fucking Don, when we'd have social events like your birthday party, before people would leave, they'd come up to me and be like, yeah, see you, champ. And just that show of respect. It's crazy. Just insane. And I became kind of like one of the locker room leaders.
You did, and that's an important thing, I think. So more quick fire questions. Who was your favourite opponent of all time? I assume it's changed from John.
Yeah. It's either Ryan or Jacob. They're, like I said, 1A or 1B, whichever way.
What's your favourite match that you ever had now? It's not you and John at Christmas Castle anymore.
It's so hard. Probably the Last Man Standing match, just because it's what elevated me I think it's what got me to have that match with Jacob.
Yeah.
It gave me the confidence. It gave me the boost that I needed.
It was the start.
Exactly. And
it's so symbolic.
Yeah. Even the Last Man Standing element, it's like the death of the old Blade Shaw and the rise of the new.
Yeah. What was your favourite storyline to be a part of? There weren't that many, but
though definitely the Ryan one, I think.
The love triangle.
Yeah, just because it was so involved and so hectic, and Ryan was the number one bad guy at the time. He'd sort of taken the model of how you'd helped him craft his character, and just took it to a place where you're like, fuck, is this guy ever gonna how are we gonna redeem himself? Can he ever be a good guy again? Yeah, because he's just a horrible person.
I love it. How do you feel you and Lily matched up as a duo?
I think it was tough because I feel like my character didn't necessarily call for physical involvement. Because you're a face, she's not doing the heel things she did with the Elite Alliance, so it's not like she's like
she's going to be a game changer during a match.
Yeah, so, but
I guess you might have been struggling at times to think of what can we do to involve her.
Yeah,
you might feel bad that she's just coming out with you. And
yeah, exactly.
Saying, come on, Blade.
Yeah, but as a friend, like just having a friend there and like having her involved in that process and how important she was to, the feud really should have been like Blade Shaw versus Ryan Tate and Lila. She should have been in that because she was such an integral part. And yeah, like I said, one of my closest friends there. Like just awesome person.
And she was your manager, but then I realised we need to do more with her because she's been so loyal.
Yes.
Let's make her commissioner. We all agreed.
Yeah.
It was a good idea. What did you think of her work as commissioner?
You could tell at the start, like, she's a bit nervous, but...
She had a notepad?
Yeah.
And then the notepad went away?
Yeah, and then by the end, she would just, like, come out and be like, no, like, she would have the confidence, to walk out and just, like, in the middle of something, just be like, fuck this, and just, like, take control.
That doctor's note was written by your mother. Yeah. Like, while she says it, she's not reading anything, she's got the confidence now, and she's able to just go out there and just say what she knows she needs to say.
And having her move, from being my manager to doing that was awesome. Like it gave her the platform that she deserved, and she took it by the balls.
Exactly, and I think we made up for it. Like when I feel like I never booked Clint Marshall well, I never booked Chaos well, I never booked Lila well. I feel like I redeemed myself as a booker with what I did with Chaos in the final year, with Zibby in his final run, and also with Lily here. So we're all kind of at some point, ticking off things that we felt like we fucked up before.
Yeah.
XWA, hated the way that I ended that. Loved the way I ended the Elite Alliance. I got to redo things that I fucked up previously.
For sure.
So there's only 4 more questions.
Okay.
Why did you ask me to marry you and Jade?
Because at this point, you're one of the oldest friends I have. Obviously you're well aware of, my falling out with Homicide, and, we don't speak anymore. He's moved across the country. And, I've got a couple of school friends and stuff like that, but specifically within the last couple of years, you've become such a close friend, and you're such a character, even outside of the Aston Crude persona, you're still a guy that you've just got a natural charisma. People are naturally drawn to you, and I think you're the only person I could ever say would be able to drag me back to backyard wrestling. If anybody else had asked me, I probably would have said no, because I'd be like, I can't be fucked. What's this going to do for me? But I knew that you would have a plan. You'd have a vision.
It would work.
You would want to do all these different things. So yeah, I'm super keen for the wedding.
Can't wait.
And to have you do this.
Bucks, bro.
Oh man, it's probably I have to lift my no drinking policy for one night only. XCW, one night only.
Yeah, it sounds great, bro. So 3 more.
Yes.
Who do you regret most never getting to wrestle?
I definitely. Alex. It's really hard. It's like Alex and JD Flame.
Alex, JD,
Clint,
Marshall,
yeah,
Lowe.
Yeah.
There's a few there.
Yeah, there's all those guys. I think just because I followed EA and that sort of angle so closely, like when I told you that I was watching WZWA stuff, that Alex is my number 1 pick because I saw his growth as a wrestler and performer, and was like, oh man, this guy went from being your number 2 to he's just his own guy. He's flourished completely.
I love that you watched it back in the day. Alright, here's a question. I've got a friend called Wicked Nick James who says that he's moving back to Perth early next year, and he's planning on possibly building some sort of ring in his backyard or some sort of wrestling apparatus for people to wrestle on, where it could potentially be maybe 2 to 4 shows a year, quarterly or half a year. just putting it out there, if anyone ever just decided, you know what, I'm starting up a backyard wrestling thing, we're only going to do it every now and then, would you consider coming out of retirement and wrestling on those shows?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. If I could pull on my kick pads and my fucking Superman shorts again, like, even if it was once every 6 months, I would not pass up the opportunity just to go out there and have fun. And
it doesn't have to be anything serious.
No.
Anymore. It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah, I can finally come out to a rap song like I always wanted. It's one of the things I regret. I always wanted to come out to a rap song. I'm just not cool enough for rap. Like, I love rap, but I'm just a fucking nerd. And so, like, it just doesn't fit at all.
You know, and that goes for everyone else out there. You know, maybe Nick might be wanting to... He said he didn't even think he'd wrestle. But he said, like, I don't know why, I just feel like I want to start something up, maybe. And just not be serious, just every now and then we just have some beers and have some matches.
Sweet.
So final question, Blade. What would your final words be, you know, if you were to give a farewell speech kind of thing? I know you did it at the last show, but what would you say to everyone out there?
I think the most important thing is just enjoy what you're doing in the moment and forget, I guess, all about everything else, you know? Like, think about all the drama that went on and all that kind of stuff, and now it means nothing. Like, you know, I'd kill to have those times back just to have them. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you and I were talking about this before, was that, you know, we haven't all caught up as much as we would have liked to, you know, sort of since WZWA ended. And it's a shame because, you know, we all live, I guess, spread out across Perth. But I think it's really important, and especially the stuff, you know, with what I've been through, like, in the last 6 months, you know, losing my granddad and the job and stuff like that, is that, you know, nothing, I guess, is 100% certain and absolute. You don't have unlimited time to do things, to spend with people. You've got, you know, there's an expiry date on everything. And just take those opportunities and take those moments, just really appreciate them, and, you know, live in the moment. It's really tough. I've never been that sort of person, and it's one of the things I've always regretted, is I've always worried too much what other people thought about me, or like how I look to other people, and it doesn't fucking matter. Like, you're there with your friends, you're there with people that love you, like, you know, just be yourself and be happy, you know.
I agree, bro. I do too much stressing about my own life, and I don't enjoy the moments that I should enjoy, and I really need to get back to that. So that resonates with me, my friend. So, yeah, and just, you know, to the next potential generation, whoever they might be, whenever they might be, yeah, that message is so important. You know, just enjoy those times being fuckheads with your friends. Enjoy every fucking second, because one day it'll be gone. Yeah, and you'll be two old dudes doing a podcast about backyard wrestling. Yeah. One balding, the other with grey hair coming through, and it'll be all gone. You know, so just enjoy it. Well, thanks, Blade. You know, I'll do my usual. Blowing smoke up someone's ass as we sign off. Beautiful. You know, I really appreciate the friendship that we've had from 2002, when it was tough days with our friendship because of being teenagers, and sometimes I'd be fucking really cool with you, other times I'd probably just be a prick or whatever, but I think eventually, as we got towards later years, I felt more appreciative of you and realised how much you did mean to me as a friend. And I just want to say I appreciate you coming into WZWA, wrestling at ICWS. I appreciate your run in WZWA, and the fact that we're able to tell such a great story for this Blade Shaw character and the person behind the character as well. And, you know, you were there with me in the Elite Alliance, but we were still there with one another in the booking committee. Your whole title reign, we were always in, you know, dialogue about what we should do. You know, how do we keep this going? What's the next best thing to come along? And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you are my favourite fucking heavyweight champion. I'd never had a babyface champion that I gave a shit about. Like, okay, we'll get the belt on the babyface after 9 months of storyline, but once he has it, I'm looking for the next heel champion. I care about heat. I don't care about good guys always coming out on top.
Yeah.
But with your reign, it changed everything for me, and I finally got to book a babyface champion for a prolonged amount of time, and it fucking worked. And it's something that I'm... Top 5 things I'm most proud of in backyard wrestling. In that top 5 is definitely Blade Shaw's title reign. So I really appreciate everything that you did for me as a friend, and I am proud that I will be able to wedge you in the one that you love the most. It's going to be fucking awesome. And the friendship doesn't end here with backyard wrestling. The friendship will continue on as we go older.
Yeah, you still owe me a dinner once you bailed on me last time.
I owe you a dinner.
You're a fucking shitty friend, man.
Yeah, man. Horrible. Hey, man, what time are you guys getting here? And I'm like, oh, no. Fuck. So, I owe you big time there, bro. But I'll always owe you because of what you've done for me and how you've made me feel over the years with your friendship. So thanks, bro, for the interview.
Consider the debt paid, man. You've changed my life, and only for the better.
Excellent. Thanks, bro. And I guess this is the end of the interview here with Blade Shaw. Thank you again, my friend.
Thanks, man.
And that's the interview with Blade Shaw, greatest heavyweight champion in Western Australian backyard wrestling history, as far as I'm concerned. It was a great talk, and I hope you all enjoyed it out there. Next time, hopefully, I'll have Vincent Graves or Mykonos or someone on with another interview, and hopefully we'll get a Resolution 5 review show with a bunch of the guys. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.